Howdy guys, week 2 of the NFL's in the books now. We're going to be taking a look at every team, ranking them now after 2 weeks of football, seeing where they stack up against each other, things I like, things I don't like about them. So yeah, let's get right into it. So we've got favorites, contenders, wild cards, mid, bad, and needs Jesus. These guys are all contending for that number 1 pick in the draft, basically, this bottom one. So first we got the Rams. What do I think of the Rams? They're 2-0. They're first in the NFC West. I think I don't know if they're a favorite right now to win the Super Bowl. I think they're more of a contender. They're a division leader. I like Stafford. I like the weapons. The run game hasn't fully come online yet this season, I don't think. The defense has some young guys, some young talent on it, guys like Jared Verse. I think they're a contender, but I think they're not especially high on the contenders list. But we'll see by the end. All right, moving on. We got the Cleveland Browns. Browns 0-2. They're in a tough division. They've allowed 58 points in the first 2 games of the season. That's a little bit of a yikes for me. I'm gonna say, are they in bad or do they need Jesus? I mean, God, they're such an awful organization. They fumbled Baker Mayfield. They brought in Deshaun Watson, who, it's Jover for him, man. I'm going to be honest, it's Joe. And you've got a couple of good players on defense, for sure. The defense is definitely the highlight of the team. You have almost nothing to be happy about on offense, though. They've scored 33 points in the first 2 games. Yeah, they're going in needs Jesus. I'm going to be honest. Falcons. What do we think of the Falcons? They are 1-1. The game they lost against the Buccaneers was extremely close. I feel like Michael Penix did everything right in that game. They probably should have won it. They just choked on defense on that last drive. I'm going to put them in wild cards. I think that they have a lot of things to like about them. Bijan Robinson's a beast. Michael Penix looks good. Drake London's good. Kyle Pitts has even been looking kind of nice out there. But defensively, they're a team that's flawed. They're going in wild card. I feel like wild card and mid are teams. The difference between these are mid is going to be a team where the weaknesses slightly outweigh the positives. And wild cards are going to be a team that the positives, the strengths, slightly outweigh the weaknesses. So we'll put them there for now. Chargers. God, after 2 weeks, they look so good. God, do we put them in favorites? I'm a little bit hesitant because Chiefs obviously are a good team. They just went to the Super Bowl 3 times in a row. And to come out strong against them in week 1 is great and all. And then you beat the Raiders. That's a game you should win. The Raiders are probably the worst team in that division. It might be a little bit too early, but I'm going to put them in favorites. They look so good. They looked so good against us. They looked so good against the Raiders. Their defense, I think, is the strength of their team, and their offense isn't far behind. So they're a very balanced team, well-rounded. Obviously, they can move up and down. Or, I mean, they can't move up if I'm putting them in favorites, but they can move down for sure. But we're going to keep them in favorites for right now. San Francisco 49ers. I mean, they just had a game where they went down to the wire with the Saints. I think they're a 2-0 team, but I don't think they're a particularly good 2-0 team. I think, well, first off, Brock Purdy's injured. I don't know when he's coming back. So he could come back this week against the Cardinals. The fact that they won that game without him could be a signal of strength. I just think they're slightly above mid. I think they're going to be a wild card team as well. Do I like them more than the Falcons? I think with Brock Purdy healthy, I think I like them a little bit more than the Falcons, but it's close. I just think on offense, they don't have many weapons for him to throw to. Outside of George Kittle, of course, I feel like everybody else is mid at the receiving core. Defensively, they've got pieces, obviously. They've got Warner, they've got Bosa. Outside of that, I don't love their secondary. I'm going to keep them in wild card. Yeah, they're staying in wild card. Next, we got the Carolina Panthers. Straight to needs Jesus. Do we even need to explain? Do we need to expound upon that? Like, Bryce Young, he had a little bit of a Mickey Mouse run last year to end the season. He fucking sucks. Like, I'm done with Bryce Young. They have weapons. Who cares? O-line's not great. Bryce Young sucks. Their defense is full of question marks. Who cares? The Panthers, they need Jesus. They're fighting for that #1 pick right now. And it could be to replace Bryce Young. Who knows? Seahawks. They went right down to the wire with, was it the Rams? Was that the matchup? I'm already blanking. It was the Titans. The Titans took the Rams to the wire for a little bit. I think the Rams pulled away at the end. I could be misremembering it. I could be a complete fucking idiot, but the Seahawks, they lose this last game. Oh no, they beat the Steelers badly, but it was mostly because of that stupid fucking special teams mistake by the Steelers, and then they lost a close game to the 49ers week 1. I'm tempted to put them in wild card 2. Where do they rank among them? Do I put them above the Falcons? I actually like less stuff about the Seahawks than I do for the Falcons. You know, they have a couple guys on their D-line. They have Kenneth Walker, who's not better than Bijan. The receiving core, don't love it. Not the biggest fan. Sam Darnold, I think, is going to be pretty good for them. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Yeah, he's just kind of playing mid right now. I know they don't protect him great. They're just going at the bottom of wild card for right now. And moving on to the Buffalo Bills. They are going into favorites. Do I like them more than the Chargers? This might be a hot take. I actually like the Chargers better than the Bills right now. And here's why. The Chargers are a more balanced team. Their defense is so strong. It can probably hold almost every good team to below 21 points with this defense. And Herbert's been playing great. They've been protecting him well. The run game for them actually hasn't been as strong as I thought it would be, but they're throwing the ball around all over the field. The Bills are probably going to cream Miami. Oh, the Bills barely won against the Ravens. Their defense looked fucking awful that whole game up until like the very end. They blew out the Jets. That's like to be expected. Justin Fields went out of the game. He got hurt. Obviously, Josh Allen's great, and he's an elite quarterback. James Cook's a beast. He's running with fire out there. I mean, he's taking screens like from the 40-yard line to the house. They've got good protection. Weapons are playing all right. But the defense is kind of fucking sus for me for Buffalo. I gotta be honest. I don't love anybody particularly that much on the D-line. Matt Milano's out. Ed Oliver, I think, is out too. The secondary's a little bit sus, guys. Like, it's not that great. I mean, Derrick Henry was looking like God out there on the football field against them in week 1, and that's when they had everybody out there. So I'm going to put them in favorites. It's a little bit shaky for me, though. Obviously, they're like a little bit of an imbalanced team where the offense is so great. The defense is a little sus, though. All right, moving on to the Packers. I don't think this needs that much explanation or time spent on it. They look like such a good, well-rounded team. The addition of Micah Parsons. Jordan Love is playing all right. He's not really like blowing us out of the water, but he's not losing them the game. He's not putting the ball super duper in harm's way. Yeah, I mean, he's played pretty well these first 2 games. They've got all these dogs at receiver. First off, Aaron Rodgers didn't want to play with any of these guys. He left because he didn't want to wait for these guys to develop. It took like 2 years. Now they're all pretty good. Like, you're an idiot, bro. The defense looks really good. I mean, they've got so many great pieces. They've got Xavier McKinney, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary. The team's just full of dogs, top to bottom. I think they might be the overall favorite team right now to win the whole thing. Now, we'll see when they get to the playoffs if they can actually do anything. But yeah, I mean, I love Green Bay right now. They look so great. We'll see if they get tested anymore by some better teams. The Commanders, I think, have kind of fallen off. Jaden Daniels is having a sophomore slump, but the Lions just blowing them out at home week 1, that's got to feel great. So, all right, the Saints need Jesus. Saints need Jesus. Are they the worst team? Them and the Panthers, like, at least... You know what, the Browns, I'm putting them in bad because the Browns at least have like a little bit of a defensive identity where, no, No, they gave up like almost 60 points in 2 games. No, I'm keeping them in needs Jesus. But they have guys who are good on that defense. The Saints are being held together with Elmer's glue and cum, okay? Mario Davis is all you got. I can't think of a single other person on that team. Like, is Cam Jordan still playing? If he is, he's like 1,000 years old. He is. He's still playing. Both of them are fucking like 1,000 years old, dude. Like, on offense, they have all these young guys on the line. Will they pan out and be great? We don't know. Alvin Kamara, you know, he's getting old too. He can still play because his play style for so long has been he kind of avoids hits the way he plays. Rattlers, I mean, statistically, he had 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think it's a little bit like, do I think Rattler could be good in this league one day? I think he could. I just think he's going to need more time to develop. They've played 2 bad teams, the Cardinals and the 49ers, and he looked pretty decent against them, but it's not enough to where it's like you need to dominate like the Cardinals, I feel like. Yeah, they're just a bad team, like top to bottom. They've got like 2 good players on that team. Like, it's like Chris Olave, Mario Davis, Cam Jordan. So that's like 3. I can't count. I'm actually dumb. But you got like 3 good players on that team. Everybody else is a big question mark. It's not good. Raiders. I think the Raiders are bad. I think they're the worst team in that division. I think Geno Smith just had like the worst game ever against the Chargers last week. Obviously, they're a great defense, but still, you can't just chuck it up against like one of the best defenses in the league. Just YOLO balls and expect good results. Like, he hit like 1 shot or 2, but he also threw 3 interceptions. So, Genty, this might be like the weird, like the same thing as the Falcons, where they didn't use Bijan that much the first year. They might not use Genty. They might be like, we're going to save your tires. We're not going to put a ton of wear on him yet. That's just what it's felt like to me these first couple games. They might ramp him up a little bit, but I'm not confident in them. I'm really not. On defense, they've got one of the best players in the league, Max Crosby, and that's it. Like, they've got receivers who can kind of play. The defense is just so sus, even though they have Max Crosby. The offense and Geno, I really don't trust Geno. I don't think he's that good. I know people like swear by him. They love him. They loved him in Seattle. I just don't see it. Like, he'll have some aura moments every now and again, but it's not it for me. All right, the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, I think, are going to be the first team to go into mid, and here's why. I think the defensive insufficiencies, like, they might be like one of the most unbalanced teams in the league. Their offense looks really good. Like, and then their defense comes out there and they just get run over, or they get the ball thrown all over them. It's not good. It's not good. Listen, America's team is sad right now. Kenny Clark is not going to fill the hole that Micah Parsons left. Sorry to say. Diggs and Deron Bland, they're not lockdown corners. They're not gonna go down there and lock up your number 1 and 2 receiver. The safeties, just mid. And then linebackers, who do they even have playing linebacker anymore? I can't even think of who they have. They're probably just Band-Aid players. Like, it's just the whole defense from top to bottom. If your best player is Kenny Clark, who's a pretty good player, but he's not going to carry an entire defense on his back. And then obviously offensively, you fixed the O-line. You brought in Pickens. Him and CeeDee Lamb are going to be nasty, like a nasty duo together. Javonte Williams looks like he's kind of turned back the clock on his career. He looks like he's running hard again. He looks like he's hard to bring down again, like he did at the beginning in Denver. But God, that defense is just so awful. It makes my eyes bleed. I'm sorry, I can't put you above mid. Like, you could maybe sneak them into wild card, but they're just too flawed of a team, I think, to go above mid. The Bears are a bad team. Oh, are they above the Raiders? Are they below the Raiders? You know what? I think they're worse than the Raiders. I think Caleb Williams has not shown the ability to ever turn it on and truly dominate an NFL game yet. Apparently, there's a lot of reports coming out about him not even leading the offense well, and that's a really bad sign. Especially if you've already played like an entire year in the league. I know he's playing in a new system now. It's just tough because he has weapons around him. The weapons cannot be an excuse. The line, they've invested in it. He's being protected better than he was last year. He's shown the ability to make plays and have flashes, but not be consistent. And that defense just got like, what was like 50 hung on them by the Lions. Yeah, they're a bad team. I mean, obviously the Lions have one of the most electric offenses in the game. We saw them struggle against Green Bay and then absolutely flip the switch and just own the Bears. I'm going to say, yeah, they're a bad team. I'm putting them below the Raiders. Now, the more I keep thinking about it, the more I want to move them up, but I'm going to keep them where they are for now. The Colts. The question is for me, are they just going to be the week 1 and 2 Saints from last year? Or are they going to keep this up? Because Miami might be a bottom 3 team in the league. And they beat the hell out of them week 1, but they might be one of the worst teams in the league. There's a lot of stuff to like. I like some of the weapons. I like Jonathan Taylor. Defensively, they've got a couple guys, but I'm leaning like they're in an awful division. They're going to win that division for free. I just don't know how they stack up against any good teams until they actually play them. I don't think Denver's a good team. They beat Denver barely with like an insane like end of the game flag winning them the game. So I'm not fully convinced on the Colts. Everybody's a huge like fantasy fan. They are like, oh yeah, Daniel Jones has so much aura. Oh my God. Sign the apology form for Daniel Jones. Oh yeah. No, he had not a lot of help in New York, but he was also butt. Okay. I'm going to put them in wild card, and I'm going to put them above the Niners for right now, because I could definitely see them getting into the playoffs. I don't know if they're capable of going all the way, just being honest. All right, the team that I just trashed, Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins, featuring Impregnate Man. And yeah, I'm trying to think of something clever and I can't. All right, they're just going in Needs Jesus. Are they better than the Browns? They're going at the top of Needs Jesus, I think. You know, they've looked so bad. We're 2 games in, they haven't forced a turnover on defense. They've given up 66 points and scored 35. I think that might be the most in the whole NFL. 66 points given up. No, the Bears gave up 79, actually. Okay, the Bears are worse. But, oh God, do we move the Bears into Needs Jesus? I just think the Dolphins are awful. I think I'm going to put them above the Browns. They at least have Tyreek Hill. They at least have Jalen Waddle. They at least have these speedsters and Achane. Tua can't get them the ball. He's getting murdered out there. He's thrown interceptions. He's Tua turned the ball over. I don't believe in them at all. I think they're an awful team. And I think that their division opponent, the Patriots, are going in bad. Where do I put them? Do I put them above the Bears or below the Bears? I'm actually going to put them above in mid. They're 1-1. They lost to the Raiders, so got to keep that in mind. They beat the Dolphins. Okay. Yeah, I think this might be a fair spot for them. They don't have a lot of things that I like. Ramondre Stevenson, I mean, like, the run game's going to work when you're playing a bad team. Don't love any of the receivers. I don't even love Drake May. I didn't like him coming out of college. I thought that he doesn't see the field super well. He has all the physical tools you need to succeed at the quarterback position. He just doesn't see the field super well. He doesn't make his reads fast. He doesn't deliver the ball on time a lot of the time. He's definitely better than like Anthony Richardson. I just think he could develop and become better with seeing the field, reading the defense, making quick decisions, but I'm not seeing it right now. They're going in bad. All right, the Lions. I'm willing to kind of write off the week 1 loss to the Packers. I think they just came out flat. Usually who you are in week 1 isn't who you're going to be for the whole season. Do they go in favorites though? I mean, if they're not the favorites to even win their own division, I don't think they're going in favorites. I'm going to put them at the top of contenders. They've got so much to love on their team though. Hutchinson's back. He's a beast. You got to love the receiving core. Amon-Ra, J-Mo, and then Jahmyr Gibbs is a beast too. The O-line is a little bit downgraded from last year, but still great O-line. And then they've got some great young players like Brian Branch on their defense. The other safety, I forget his name. And then it all just hinges on Jared Goff. Which Jared Goff are we going to get? Are we going to get the Jared Goff who folds at the sight of any pressure? Or are we going to get the Jared Goff who gets all day to sit back there, make reads, and throw it around. So honestly, we saw both of them already this season. You know, week 1 against the Packers, we saw bad Jared Goff. So last week against the Bears, we saw good Jared Goff. So I think they're going to be contenders. The team is just so stacked, and the quarterback is the only question mark for me. All right, moving on, the Bengals. The Bengals 2-0. Yeah, the Bengals are 2-0, but I actually think they are mid. And also, Joe Burrow might have just had a season-ending injury. He wasn't playing particularly well before it, and I don't feel like they addressed the problems that they had. They paid T. Higgins, which I think was a big mistake, instead of investing that money somewhere else, like protection for your fucking quarterback. Are you kidding me? Hendrickson comes back, but I don't know if they fixed anything on that defense. I really don't. They're going to go in mid. I could easily see them sneaking into the wild card if Joe Burrow comes back, but they're 2-0, but they just feel so mid. There's just so much not to like about this team. It all starts with the O-line, the protection up front, and then it ends with the defense. And obviously you can have two of the best wide receivers in the league, but does that matter anymore? Like, your quarterback's not playing in the next game. He's not going to be playing for at least a couple months. So yeah, they're mid. Tennessee Titans, oh God, do they need Jesus or are they bad? I think they're just going to go in regular bad. I love some of the stuff we've seen from Cam Ward. He has the ability to make every throw on the field, and he seems like a guy who all he cares about is football. All he cares about is playing ball. They don't have the team around him yet, and they have a couple pieces. It's just like offensively, I think they have some pieces on defense. Like, they have Snead, they've got Jeffrey Simmons, they've got, can't think of anyone else. When it comes to the offense, it's like you're playing with Tyler Lockett, you're playing with, like, what is it, Calvin Ridley, guys who just don't blow your socks off, you know? And then, does he have the protection he needs? I think there's a lot of young pieces on that O-line. We'll see what they develop into, if they can gel and bring it all together. But as of right now, they're a bad team. They're a bad team. The Eagles, God, where do I put them? I'm gonna put them in favorites, but I'm gonna put them at the bottom of favorites right now. I think against Dallas, they only put up 24 points against what I think might be the worst defense in the league. Or was it 27? I can't remember. Their passing game has looked out of whack. A.J. Brown has not been utilized the way that he should be. Dallas Goedert, I think, is his favorite target, but they're kind of just having to win games with cheese with the tush push. I mean, I'm going to be honest, kind of an Eagles hater. They owned us in the Super Bowl, but I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can be. They have not looked dominant in either of these games to start off the season. They have a lot of young players on that defense who I think are going to gel and develop and be great later into the season. So I'm not worried about their defense, but the offense is surprisingly concerning. That's all I'm going to say. But I think they are still favorites. They won the Super Bowl. Yeah, they're going at the bottom of favorites for right now. Jaguars, 1-1. There's a lot of things to like about the Jaguars, but I think they're mid. I'm going to put them at the top of mid. The whole Travis Hunter situation has been kind of weird. He hasn't looked great because he's trying to adjust to two different positions at the NFL level, which is insane. It's a tall task. And also, you're dividing up development between two different positions at the very highest level of football, which is difficult. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then you got to love Brian Thomas Jr. He's going to be a great player for a while. Let me look at his stats for this year. Has he really done anything? 60 yards. So he hasn't gotten super involved yet this year, at least. But they've got a couple weapons for T-Law to throw to. Etienne's been playing well, I think. They've got some pieces on defense. It's just not a lot. Nothing that really blows your socks off about this team. And I think that's why they're going in mid. They're 1-1. And I think they are definitely not one of the best teams in their division. Like, I could easily see the Texans being better than them still, even though they're 0-2. But yeah. All right, Denver Broncos. I think they go in wild card. It's either wild card or mid for me. Bo Nix has turned into Mo Picks. Lost them the game against the Colts. It was a very close game that came down to a penalty at the end, but still, Bo Nix hasn't looked great. That defense isn't going anywhere. They're still good. I'm going to put them right behind the Colts, actually. I think that's where they belong. Obviously, you've got Pat Surtain, DPOY from last year. You've got You got some players on offense, but nothing that really blows me away. Like Courtland Sutton, he's never like, he's a good receiver. He could be like a top 10 at his best, but is he ever gonna be better than like a Mike Evans? I don't think so. Marvin Mims is a good slot guy. Hasn't consistently dominated in the NFL yet, I don't think. Yeah, I don't love the Denver Broncos. I'm a Chiefs fan. I actually hate them, and they can suck me from the back. But I gotta be fair, they're probably in wild card mode right now. The Giants, I think I'm gonna put them at the very bottom of mid, and here's why. There is so much stuff to like about the Giants. Malik Neighbors, who could literally be the best receiver in the league at some point. Like, they have Wan'Dale Robinson, who is a great number 2 option for Russ, and then their run game is like, non-existent. The protection, not amazing, but also not the worst. You've got a lot of receivers who can stretch the field vertically, like Slayton as well. God, who else? I'm forgetting someone. But on defense, the secondary is pretty sus, but you have a defensive line that could develop into maybe the best defensive line in the league. You got Sexy Dexy, you got Abdul Carter, who is just a rookie, and then you got Brian Burns right on the other side. It's just all kind of on the secondary, so questionable. The reason why they're so mid, and also like the offensive line isn't that great. They have no run game. So yeah, they're going in mid. All right, the Vikings. Where do the Vikings go? I feel like they're also another team that could go in mid or wild card. Where do they go though? I don't love JJ McCarthy, especially I didn't like him coming out of college. I didn't think everybody's like, yeah, he's a winner. He's such a winner. If you're going to be a good NFL quarterback, it probably doesn't start with you getting drafted out of college on a team where your coach doesn't trust you to throw the ball. Yeah, you know, like at Michigan. Obviously, you've got Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison's going to come back at some point. It's just not. You got Brian Flores as your DC. That's nice. As far as right now, I think they have more that I like than either of these teams. No. I'm going to put them right behind the Falcons. I just feel like JJ McCarthy is such a question mark right now, and I feel like I have more that I know about with all these teams up here. Yeah, they're going in wild cards at the back end of it. All right, the Cardinals. They kind of squeaked out a win against the Panthers. It wasn't like, I feel like if you want to be a dominant team, that's a team that you have to blow out. So, and then what is their record right now? They're 2-0, but they're not like a dominant 2-0, I don't think. I'm going to put them, do I even put them in wild card? Like, who did they play week 1? Oh, okay. They barely squeaked out a win against the Saints. They barely squeaked out a win against the Panthers. Yeah, okay. I'm putting this team, all these other teams have a loss, but I'm going to put them at the top of mid for now. They could easily go down. I could easily see that. They're going at the top of mid. Kyler, I mean, we're getting close to October, November. Call of Duty's coming out soon. Marvin Harrison, I think he's going to be a great player, but not yet. Don't love the protection. You're relying on James Conner for the run game. You have added a little bit to your defense, but not a lot. And there was almost no talent on that defense last year, other than like Budda Baker. So I'm going to keep them. I'm going to put them at the top of mid, but I could easily see them moving down behind some of these teams if they start losing games. But just because they're 2-0, I feel like I got to put them at the top of mid right now. All right, anyways, the Ravens, they had an insane choke job against the Bills. There's so much to like about this team. There's not a lot to not like about this team as well. They just go in favorites. They can't go above Buffalo, though. They choked the hell out of that game. You love Derrick Henry. You love Lamar. The weapons are kind of question marky, but have been playing well so far. The defense has some pieces that you really like Matabike. You've got Hamilton, but I mean, everything else. Oh yeah, and you got Roquan Smith, of course. You've got a couple question marks on your defense. Your offensive weapons are not really elite, other than Derrick Henry, but there's a lot to like. There's a lot to like, definitely. Oh God, but they They barely beat the Browns, didn't they? Oh, wait, no, they didn't barely beat the Browns. They blew the hell out of the Browns. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. You beat the hell out of the Browns, but you're supposed to beat the hell out of the Browns. Yeah, they're favorites. I'm actually going to put them above the Eagles. I think they've looked more impressive than the Eagles, even though they did an insane choke job against the Bills. Okay, Kansas City. This hurts my heart, but I think I'm putting them right here. Thought about this a lot. They're my favorite team. My Mahunky Poo is my favorite player in the whole league. They can't run the ball. It's disgusting how badly they run the ball. Isaiah Pacheco still looks like he's just running into a brick wall every time they hand it to him. He has like awful vision. He doesn't see the field or the holes that he needs to cut to. He's got all this speed. And for what? He just runs into a brick wall every time. Kareem Hunt has no burst. He can plow through a crease. He can pause. He can he can get you a yard or two when you need it, but he will never rip off a huge run for a touchdown ever again, I don't think, unless something absolutely egregious happens on the defense. The defense has looked a little bit sus, but I mean, you played two of the best teams in the league in the first two games of the season. Pass rush is what really concerns me. I think the secondary is actually okay, especially like Trent McDuffie is a great player. He's an elite player. He's like a lockdown corner. You'd hardly ever want to throw it to him because he's probably just going to break it up. Hasn't been super duper that much of a ball hawk, more of like a lockdown corner who plays man-to-man and will break up every ball that comes his way almost. Safeties haven't been great. I mean, it's just, you have the best quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry to all the Bills fans, all the Josh Allen lovers, all the Lamar lovers, all the Jalen Hurts glazers who think he's a top 5 guy. I'm sorry, dude, he's not. I'd put Justin Herbert above Jalen Hurts. Like, he's not that great. Anyways, I think they're contenders. Andy Reid hasn't gone anywhere. Patrick Mahomes hasn't gone anywhere. Kelsey hasn't looked the same, but he's still a great player. Maybe he'll stop being such a fucking terrorist every game, killing people and losing us the game. We'll see. And Rashee Rice is coming back. Xavier Worthy might come back this week, so some of those problems are getting fixed soon. I could easily see when Rice comes back and if they start dominating on offense again, moving them up here, somewhere around here. But for right now, yeah, that's where they're going. I know they're 0-2. The team that's been to the Super Bowl the last 3 years in a row gets a little bit of leeway, you know? And then the Buccaneers. I think Baker Mayfield has the most aura of every player in the league. They 2-0. I think they're 2-0, right? Buccaneers are leading their division. They're 2-0. Baker Mayfield has the most aura. Bucky Irving is the second coming of Christ. Mike Evans is still doing his thing. Chris Godwin could come back soon. I don't know if that's actually true. I'm probably just yapping. But, oh yeah, Egbuka looks like a beast. And then obviously they still have all of those guys, a lot of the guys from that defense that won the Super Bowl that year in 2020, or was it 2021? I can't even remember. They've still got guys on defense. I think I'm putting them in contenders, man. I might like them more than the Rams. I like them more than the Rams. I'm going to be honest. They have a grittiness to them. Their offense is electric when it needs to be. I'm actually putting them up here. Yeah. I'm just ripping it. Okay, Jets. Now that Justin Fields is hurt, I mean, it was only a concussion, right? So he's going to be out for probably only like 1 or maybe 2 games. I'm going to put, I mean, like a lot of why they were hanging in there against like the Steelers, for example, was Justin Fields and his legs. Hold on, a sneeze is coming. Oh, God. Okay, the sneeze didn't happen and now I'm in pain. They're bad. I'm not gonna go needs Jesus because they actually put up a pretty decent performance against the Steelers, but they're bad. They're a bad team. Do I like them more than I like the Patriots? They have a little bit of a defensive identity, kind of. Well, I mean, they actually gave up like 30 points 2 weeks in a row. Fuck, man, this is tough. They have some things that you like, but it's really, it doesn't outweigh the bad at all. Yeah, they're bad. I'm putting them barely above the Titans. I think the Bears are better than them. The Steelers are 1-1, right? I think Aaron Rodgers still has it a little bit. They kind of, I don't know. It seems like they tried to write him off, but after last year, all the weird political stuff, all the weird podcasts, all the hot takes, all this shit, they tried to tell you that Aaron Rodgers is washed and he's a bum and he's gone from the league. That's definitely not the case. He's definitely not the player that he used to be, but there's still something there, man. He's like, what, like 38, 40, somewhere around there. He can still make some beautiful throws. He can still fit the ball into tight windows. He just can't really move around super duper well. He's a little bit of a sitting duck back there in the pocket. He can make every throw to his guys out there. And I think he has some good weapons. DK Metcalf has looked great for him. Calvin Austin. The run game hasn't super duper impressed me from that team. The protection isn't necessarily like the best. It's okay. And then on defense, they've looked like an absolute train wreck. And you've got TJ Watt, who's maybe the best defensive player in the league, and you are like giving up 30 plus points a game. So that's tough. I think the secondary's sus as hell. Jalen Ramsey is like the only thing you got out there. I don't know. Are they mid or are they wild card? Like, you got to imagine they're just going to win a couple more games and they lose. So that's probably wild card territory. Seahawks beat them. I'm putting them at the back of wild card. And then Washington Commanders, are they 0-2? They're 0-2, right? No, they're 1-1. Okay, so they beat the Giants, which they're supposed to. Are they better than the Cowboys? Oh, I don't know. And then the Packers beat them by more than a touchdown. How do we rank them? They're definitely better than the Cowboys. You know what? I'm going to move the Steelers down to mid. Yeah. Okay, I think that's right. I think the Cardinals are actually better than them. I kind of like Washington better than some of these teams. God, I might like them better than all these teams. Damn. God. I mean, Jaden Daniels, all the memes are coming out about him saying, oh, Jaden Daniels when he has to play against an actual team. You know, I don't think that's necessarily true. He just had to play against, I think, the best team in the league last week with not the most talent on this team. So I'm putting them above San Fran. I'm putting them above Denver too. I like them better than Denver. Call me crazy, but it's an offensive league. They have a good offense. They have Bill. Okay. Bill's going to be amazing, apparently. And they've got weapons. They've got Scary Terry. They've got Debo. They've got Zach Ertz has been looking pretty good still. Defense, pretty sus, not going to lie. But there's a lot of stuff that you like about this team. So yeah, I'm going to put them near the top of wild card. And you know what? I'm going to move the Seahawks back to mid too. And then the Texans, they go in wild card or are they mid? Obviously, I think, how many playoff teams are there? There's like 16, right? Or are there 14? We have 15 teams in here. I don't think wild cards necessarily means that they're going to be in the playoffs. It means teams that I think could at the back, and then more towards here, teams that I think will. God, I think the Broncos are too high now. Some of these teams are so mid, now that I'm looking at it holistically from what I've got here. And then the Texans are 0-2, but I think they're better than their record suggests. I like the Texans more than I like the Vikings. I think I'm going to do that. The Texans have such a good defense. They have so many good players on their defense. They held the Rams to 14, held the Buccaneers to 20. It's just the offense doesn't work because they can't protect CJ Stroud. And what baffles me is they had draft capital to get the pieces that they needed. They could have taken Josh Simmons. Maybe they thought it was they could grab him in the second round, but like the Chiefs were obviously going to take him. Like they chose to just go receiver, and 2 receivers at that. When you've got Nico Collins, Tank Dell's probably not going to play. He might not ever play again. I don't know. His injury was insanely gruesome. But I mean, you've got guys. You've got Mixon, you've got Chubb. Oh wait, is Mixon? Okay, Mixon is injured. I forgot about that. But you've got Chubb, who has looked not great, not bad. I don't know. It's like they didn't fix their number one issue was the O-line, and they just made like 0 effort in the draft to fix it, even though they had the capital to do it, which is kind of crazy to me. The organization is being run like a fucking 11-year-old playing Madden. Like they're like, oh, we got the receivers, haha, let's go. But yeah, they're going. I'm gonna put them at the very back end of wild card. I could definitely see them not making it into the playoffs this year and missing. I could definitely see them maybe turning it around. I don't think they're gonna win the division. I think the division goes to Colts as things stand right now. Are the Jags better than them? I don't know. I don't think so. I just love the way that Houston's defense keeps them in the game. Their offense is dysfunctional, but can be fixed, or it can become better over the course of the season. That's my opinion. So yeah, guys, that's my tier list for all NFL teams after 2 weeks. Thank you for joining my yap sesh. How long has this been going on for? I've been yapping for over an hour now. So I'm kind of having an allergy attack now. I don't know what's going on. The weather's been insane. Thank you for joining the yap sesh. Please subscribe to the channel. Go follow me on Patreon. You can follow for free or subscribe. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks to the patrons right now, Super Bambo and Nick. I don't know if you want me to say your name or not. I think your account name was just your full name, so I'm just going to say Nick. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks so much for supporting the channel, the two of you. Hopefully you guys don't hate my list too much as well. But those are my thoughts 2 weeks in. So thanks for watching. Peace.